From hardships of Ukraine and Moldova, from broken bodies, shattered glass, and whispered prayers of grief in Russia, Ukraine, and Germany, from centuries of pogroms, massacres, extermination, anti-Semitism, and Holocaust, emerged minds that would change the world. Jews, despite centuries of persecution, rose to extraordinary heights in science, music, and philosophy. They carried with them not only the scars of history, but also an unbreakable spirit and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Let's talk about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, like any form of xenophobia, usually inflicts someone's brain at the young and vulnerable age from the unfortunate exposure to a horrible instructor friend who can brainwash a young and sensitive mind into hate and ignorance. This part of the writing here is for those who choose to preach this hateful doctrine. I want to ask this person a few important questions. Can you, anti-Semite, imagine a Jew, male or female, young or old, becoming a human bomb on a bus or street intersection in any city in the world, blowing yourself into pieces and killing everyone around, children, women, civilians, bystanders, pedestrians, for any religious reason? I know you can't. People of other religions do it. Jewish people do not do such horrible things for any reason. Can you imagine a Jewish person driving his car and plowing it into civilians in a European city or America? Peaceful people walking during the festival or parade, celebrating holidays, playing with children or buying food at the farmers' markets, and killing tenth and butchering hundreds in the process. I know you can't. People of other religions do it. Jewish people do not do such awful things. They value human life. Can you imagine Jewish people assembling in an angry mob for the purpose of burning, looting, and stealing, breaking windows of shops, breaking into houses, putting shops and cars on fire, damaging properties, and injuring and killing people? I know you can't. Other people do this. Jewish people do not do such terrible things. Can you imagine all these terrible crimes committed by Jewish people? No, never. You cannot imagine these horrible crimes committed by Jewish people even if you're an anti-Semite. You know better. The Jewish people do not steal, loot, damage properties. They do not blow themselves for any reason and kill innocent people around them for any reason. Jewish people don't fly planes into the buildings, and they are not suicide bombers. Jewish people are not thieves, criminals, or violent people as a group. They would be appalled to even consider these brutal behaviors. They would feel horrendous guilt, and their parents would feel eternal shame. Choosing to blame Jews or hate them, brainwashed with lies, you choose to be on the wrong side of humanity and ignore reality and Jewish history. So we agree that Jewish people are not criminals. They do not organize or perform these terrible crimes as a whole. So what do? We already discussed in length that they create and perform. But they also, not by desire, but by sheer necessity, protect their own people, their spiritual and religious beliefs, and defend their Jewish state from enemies that surround their young nation. Surrounded by Arab states that hate Israel, this young nation has been consistently attacked for the last almost 80 years of her existence. Jewish people have become warriors of their nation in time of need and settled to defend their country with all their might. honoring their painful history filled with pogroms, massacres, and physical extermination, and making sure that horrors of their dreadful past would never happen again. Never again is the motto of Jewish nation that survived Holocaust. A sign that was engraved after the World War II on the entrance of the Dachau concentration camp in Germany. A symbol of Jewish endurance and perseverance, a hope of Jewish people to hold on to their land, an ancient land of Jews, and protect it by any means as the only way to guarantee life versus death, ability to preserve their nation, their ethnic culture, and their people versus loss of everything, people, memory, culture, the only way to defend and protect Jewish people against slaughter. Educated people all over the world respect Jewish people for these vast accomplishments. Educated people who know Jewish history and have been exposed to Jewish brilliance cannot become anti-Semites by definition. What do educated people of science, music, and art think about Jewish people? Professional musicians admire Jewish people for their enormous contribution to the world of music and cinema over many centuries, and musical brilliance performing and conducting classic orchestras all over the world where they are overrepresented. Mathematicians admire Jewish people for their immense contribution to the mathematical sciences, especially physics, and their scientific, brilliant, noble minds. Vast majority of educated and intelligent people of any ethnic background respect Jewish people for their resilience despite centuries of persecution, scientific and musical contributions to their societies, excellence in teaching and education, superiority in psychology, for their family values, empathy, human principles and morals, for their constant desire to fight injustices and discrimination and maintain civil liberties and rights of people of any nation, and for their untiring mission to help to repair the troubled world. To study anti-Semitism as a cornered hatred of uneducated minority, let's choose music and ignore for now all other scientific accomplishments of Jews. The premise is that anti-Semite will not like anything produced by Jews, especially music, because music composed by Jewish people has a pronounced or veiled expression of sadness that you can hear in every note. Even if this music was written as a festive Christmas song, it will have that famous, so touchy and so loved Jewish longing that anti-Semite will not understand and will not like. The 10 brilliant American musicians of the 20th century that we would like to use here are Leonard Bernstein, Vladimir Horowitz, Arthur Rubinstein, Irving Berlin, George Gershwin, Itzhak Perlman, Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, Paul Simon, and Billy Joel. We hope that other hundreds of outstanding American Jewish musicians will forgive us for not using their name and fame in this little experiment. If you ask ChatGPT, you trust this source or not, about the worldwide sales of concerts or amount of sold music albums, Billy Joel, 150 million attended his concert or bought his records. Bob Dylan, 125 million. Simon and Garfunkel, 100 million. Leonard Bernstein, 30 million. Leonard Cohen, 25 million people. Irving Berlin and George Gershwin together, 50 million. If we summarize all this large fan base together, all these numbers, we will see that about 500 million people, 500 million people loved these outstanding Jewish artists to the point of visiting their concerts, buying their records to enjoy their music. Anti-Semites must be truly angry to know that 500 million people, for the last 60 years of the 20th century, or about the last 2 generations of people worldwide, are not on their side. And this is just music we're discussing. If we add math, physics, chemistry, psychology, cinematography, it will be clear that admiration for Jewish talent is in billions of people on planet Earth, and so overwhelming that hate toward Jews for any reason is not only ridiculous but truly sad and deserved. If you, I'm addressing anti-Semite, understand all these facts, know painful history of Jewish people and history behind the creation of the State of Israel, if you are aware of Jewish accomplishments, and if you are a person of integrity, you cannot be an anti-Semite. Anti-Semitism stems from lack of education or ignorance, often plain stupidity, and sadly, usually expressed by biased individuals with personal unhappiness and unrealized anger. Jewish brilliance, be kind to these people.